shadows on the edge, the alien fleet moved like a wall of steel across the stars. Dozens of warships, each bristling with weapons, glided through the silent void. Their hulls gleamed in the pale light of a nearby star, casting cold reflections. Into the darkness, the crew inside worked with precision, their orders sharp, their confidence unshaken. For years, they had crushed any who stood in their way. Entire worlds had fallen at their approach, and today, they believed, would be no different. At the heart of the fleet, aboard the flagship Virkin's Fist, the alien admiral lounged in his command chair. He was a towering figure with scaled skin and eyes like molten gold. His claws tapped on the armrest as he listened to the hum of his bridge crew. The air was thick with the scent of oil and ozone. It was the smell of power, the smell of victory waiting to be claimed. A sudden ping from the sensor station broke the steady rhythm of the command deck. The young sensor officer frowned, his eyes fixed on the glowing display. "Admiral, we have an unidentified contact," he said. "Location?" The admiral asked without much concern. The officer hesitated. "Dead ahead, at the very edge of our detection range." Moving slow. The bridge crew exchanged curious glances. Slow meant either damaged or unafraid. Neither possibility made sense here. The admiral leaned forward. "Magnify," he ordered. A holodisplay flickered, showing a distant speck. It was small, laughably small, compared to the massive ships of the alien fleet. "Another lost trader," one officer chuckled. "Or maybe a pirate who doesn't know who owns this space." Another said with a grin. The admiral's lips curled into a smirk. "Either way, it dies," he said. But the sensor readings began to shift. The tiny speck had no transponder code, no ID, no sign of communication. Its power signature was strange. Too high for a vessel its size, and yet its engines burned at a steady, almost lazy pace, as if it had no reason to rush. The sensor officer's hands trembled as he read the data again. "This isn't a trader. It's something else," he whispered. The rumors came back to them then. Stories told in the shadows of starports. Stories of humans primitive in numbers, but monstrous in war. Of a single human warship that had once destroyed a planetary defense fleet in under an hour. The alien admiral scoffed at such tales. Old legends made to frighten smugglers and green recruits. But as the contact drifted closer, a knot began to form in his gut. The ship emerged from the distant haze, like a predator from the dark. Its black hull was jagged in places, scarred by battles long past. No lights flashed, no banners waved, no signal greeted them. Only the cold, silent shape of a hunter that did not need to announce itself. The alien fleet watched in eerie quiet as the human vessel's shadow stretched across their sensors. It moved with the weight of something ancient and utterly confident. A transmission clicked through on the comms. One voice, calm and steady, spoke in perfect translation. "Leave now," it said. Nothing more. No threats, no demands. Just a statement that hung in the air like the blade of a guillotine. The alien admiral barked out a laugh, trying to shake off the sudden chill in his chest. "One ship dares to threaten us?" He said loudly, for his crew to hear. "Arm all weapons, target that thing, and end it." Around him, the crew obeyed, but their movements were slower than usual. The voice they'd heard had not been loud, but it had carried a weight they could not name. The alien fleet shifted into attack formation. Turrets swiveled, missile bays opened, energy cannons began to hum. The void lit up with the glow of charging weapons. On the human ship, there was no visible reaction. It did not turn. It did not retreat. It simply drifted closer, like a wolf stepping into a herd. The alien admiral gritted his teeth. "Fire," he ordered, and the first volley of death tore through the blackness toward the lone human ship. But deep inside, though he would never admit it aloud, he could not shake the feeling that he had just made the worst decision of his life. *The human ship arrives. The first volley screamed through the darkness. Beams of plasma and streams of molten metal streaked toward the human vessel. The void flashed bright as the alien fleet unleashed its fury. The admiral's lips curled into a cruel grin, certain the target would be torn apart. But the human ship vanished, not in an explosion, not in flames just gone. The alien bridge crew froze. Eyes darting over their scanners. Alarms pinged. Systems struggled to recalibrate. Then, without warning, the human warship reappeared behind the alien formation. No engine trail, no hyperspace jump signature, just there, like it had stepped out from a shadow that no one else could see. Gasps and curses filled the alien command deck. The admiral's claws dug into his chair as his crew shouted over each other. How did it get there? One demanded, "Impossible." "It's not on any of our readings," another stammered. The human ship drifted calmly, as if surveying its prey. Its hull seemed darker than the space around it. Drinking in the starlight, strange markings ran along. Its side scars from ancient battles, the kind only a ship that had survived countless wars would bear. Then came the first shot. It was not a barrage, not a wave of fire, just a single blast. It tore through the lead alien battleship like it was made of paper. One moment, the vessel was there. The next, it was split in half. Debris spun into the void. Crew screams echoing briefly over open channels before silence claimed them. The alien fleet scattered. Formations shattered as panic spread like wildfire. On the human ship, the bridge crew worked in perfect silence. Every movement was precise. Controlled, they didn't fire again immediately. Instead, they let the fear grow. The alien officers scrambled to restore order. But every time they thought they had a plan, the human ship shifted position again, appearing where no one expected, like it could read their thoughts. The admiral slammed his fist onto the console. "Concentrate fire," he roared. "Box it in. Do not let it escape." But the human ship didn't run. It didn't even change course. It simply turned to face them head-on, and in that silent moment, the admiral realized. The humans were not trying to escape. They were hunting. The alien flagship's lights flickered. As another ship in the fleet erupted in a silent ball of fire, the crew watched in horror as their numbers dropped. This was not a battle. It was an execution. And the human ship had only just begun the first salvo the alien admiral's command. Deck was chaos. Officers shouted over one another, desperate to track the human ship's movements. Screens flickered as sensor feeds tried to keep up. Every calculation ended in confusion. Every prediction failed. It was as if the human ship existed outside of their rules. Then, without warning, the human vessel moved. No acceleration, no engine flare, just a sudden, ghostly shift through space. Its massive forward railgun aligned with surgical precision, and the void lit up with a single streak of fire. The shot struck an alien cruiser mid-turn. The armor split open, molten metal and atmosphere spilling into the black. One hit, one ship gone. No wasted shots, no hesitation, only pure, cold efficiency. The alien admiral's jaw tightened. "Return fire," he bellowed. Dozens of cannons roared. Missiles streaked toward the target. Explosions dotted the blackness where the human ship had been. But when the fire cleared, the ship was gone again. A shadow among shadows. Silent, invisible, and impossibly close. It appeared on the flank this time. 2 more shots rang out. One destroyed a frigate instantly. The other pierced the shield of a destroyer before detonating inside. The blast ripped it apart from the inside out. The alien comms were filled with panicked voices. "Where is it now?" "It's behind us." "No, above us." Every report came too late. Every sighting ended with another ship lost. Inside the human vessel, the crew moved like clockwork. No fear, no wasted words. The captain sat in his chair, eyes fixed on the tactical display. "Next target," he said. Calmly, the gunnery officer tapped in coordinates. The helmsman adjusted course by the smallest fraction. The ship slid through the alien formation like a blade through water. Another shot, another ship gone. The alien fleet was bleeding ships faster than they could regroup. Every second, their numbers fell. The admiral's hands clenched into fists. This was no ordinary enemy. This was a predator, and they were the prey. Asterisk. Silence in the void. The alien fleet drifted in a loose scatter. Their once perfect formation was gone. Shattered by fear, ships turned in different directions, searching for the enemy that refused to stay still. The void was quiet now, too quiet. Even the distant hum of weapons charging had faded. Only the faint static of open comms filled the air. The human ship was nowhere on their sensors. Not a flicker, not a shadow. It was as if the predator had vanished. But every captain in the fleet knew better. It was still out there, watching, choosing its next victim. On the alien flagship, the crew held their breath. They stared at their monitors. Every flicker of light in the darkness made their hearts pound. The admiral's tail lashed in frustration. "Find it," he growled. His voice was low, but the strain in it was clear. This was no longer about victory. It was about survival. Then, in the silence, a sound crackled through the comms. It was the human voice again. Calm, steady, without emotion. "You should have left," it said. Words were soft, but every alien on the bridge felt them like a blade pressing against their throat. Before anyone could respond, the human ship appeared, right in the center of the alien fleet. No warning, no distortion. 1 second the space was empty. The next, it was filled by the dark silhouette of death. Its guns began to turn, slow, deliberate, as if it had all the time in the world. The alien crews opened fire in panic. Streams of plasma and torpedoes raced toward the target, but the human ship twisted with impossible grace. Its shields shimmered faintly as it slipped between attacks. Every move felt intentional. Every evasion felt like it had been predicted long before the battle began. One shot, a frigate vanished in a silent bloom of fire. 2 more shots. A destroyer split apart. The void swallowed the screams before they could even be heard. The silence returned, only broken by the sound of alien captains pleading for orders. The admiral's claws dug into the armrests of his chair. He could feel it now. This wasn't a war. This was a hunt, and the humans were enjoying every moment of it. Fear spreads. The survivors of the alien fleet were scattered and trembling. Their voices cracked over open channels. Some begged for orders. Others whispered silent prayers in their native tongues. The void felt colder now, like the heat of their engines could not reach their bones. The human ship drifted forward, its guns silent, its movements slow, almost lazy, as if it already knew no one could stop it. The silence was worse than the attacks. Every captain waited for the next strike. Every second felt like a lifetime. On the alien flagship, the admiral stared at the black shape on his main screen. It was close now, too close. He could see the jagged scars across its hull, marks of battles it had survived, marks that told the truth. This was not the first fleet it had destroyed. His voice shook when he gave the order. Retreat. The word felt like poison, an admission of defeat. But before the fleet could turn, the human ship spoke again. One word: denied. The sound was calm, almost polite, but the meaning struck harder than any weapon. The alien fleet tried to break away. Engines roared, shields flared, but the human warship moved like a shadow. It was suddenly among them again, too fast to track, too quiet to predict. A flash of light, another ship gone, then another. The screams of dying crews cut short as the void claimed them. Fear spread faster than fire. Alien captains abandoned formations. They fled in different directions, but it didn't matter. The human ship followed each one with patient precision, picking them off one by one, like a predator herding its prey before the final kill. On the flagship, the admiral's claws dug so deep into the chair that blood seeped between the seams. His heart pounded in his chest. He knew then. There was no escape, no victory, only the slow, deliberate ending the humans had chosen for them. Asterisk the last. Stand the alien fleet was almost gone. Only a handful of warships remained. Each one battered, shields failing, hulls scarred with fresh wounds. The void around them was littered with the wreckage of their dead. Twisted metal spun slowly through the black, silent graves drifting between the stars. The admiral rose from his chair. His golden eyes burned with rage and shame. He would not run again. If this was the end, it would be on his terms. Form up, he commanded. All ships prepare for one final charge. The surviving captains answered with shaky voices, but they obeyed. Because there was nothing else left to do, the alien ships gathered into a wedge formation. Weapons armed, reactors burning at full power, energy surged through their cannons. Until the barrels glowed white-hot, they aimed everything at the human warship. The admiral's voice roared over the fleet comms, "For the honor of our dead fire." The void exploded in light. Missiles screamed forward. Beings of plasma cut through space. For a brief moment, the darkness was swallowed by fire. But when the blaze faded, the human ship was still there, untouched, unbroken. Its black hull seemed to drink in the light of their weapons, like the void itself had claimed it as its own. Then it moved, not with speed, but with certainty. Its railguns and missile bays opened in perfect unison. The first volley tore through the lead alien cruiser. The second split a destroyer in half. The third hit the flagship's escorts. One by one, they vanished into silent blossoms of flame. The admiral gritted his teeth, even as his own ship shook under the impact. He kept firing. Every strike against the human ship was swallowed by its shields. Every attempt to flank it ended with another alien death. It was not a battle anymore. It was an ending. The final blow came without warning. A single railgun shot pierced the flagship's core. The bridge was bathed in red light as alarms screamed. The admiral's last sight was the black silhouette of the human warship, silent, watching, before the explosion claimed him. Asterisk. A message to the galaxy. The battlefield was silent now. Only drifting wreckage remained where a mighty armada had once stood. The black hull of the human warship moved slowly through the debris. Its engines glowed faintly. Its guns were quiet. The hunt was over. Among the wreckage, a few alien escape pods floated in the dark. Their distress beacons flashed weakly. The human ship did not destroy them. Instead, it allowed them to drift away. Survivors few and broken were left to carry the story, because the humans wanted. This story told, inside one pod, a young alien officer stared at the fading silhouette of the human vessel. The shape burned into his mind, not just for what it had done, but for what it meant. It had fought without hesitation. It had killed without anger. It had left without fear. Across the galaxy, the survivors' words spread like wildfire. They spoke of the ship that appeared from nowhere, that struck without mercy, that erased an entire armada in moments. They whispered the same question in war rooms and royal courts. If this was one ship, how many more do they have? The answer never came. The humans never replied to the rumors, never boasted of their victory. They simply continued their silent watch from the shadows, because this was not conquest. This was a warning, and somewhere, in the darkness, on the bridge of that black warship, the human captain sat with folded arms, eyes fixed on the endless stars, waiting for the next fleet foolish enough to test them. Asterisk.